Hello everyone and welcome back to Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime Halloween edition. Except it's not going up on Halloween because I want it to go up on a weekend. Halloween's Monday, so this is probably Saturday or Sunday, but close enough. I've hoped you've enjoyed the spooky videos this month. I hope someone's enjoyed. I thought this might be a good story to kind of, end things, or end the month on, I guess. You know what, let's get into this. Happy Halloween. Stay safe out there while listening to creepypastas. Don't get in anything dangerous. Don't buy any spooky games this Halloween, no matter how nice the creepy old man may look. Don't do it. And for now, let's just get into Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Screams. Super Mario RPG was always one of my favorite games of all time, and it still is, even after ... that ... happened, ... The fateful night when my view of the game would change forever. One night, I got tired of playing the games I've been working on lately. This person not only plays games, he's also developing them. He's a developer on Minecraft and Team Fortress 2 and stuff. That's real specific. I love that third game. I wanted something older, and I thought, what better than my old fave, Mario RPG? See, they're such good friends, they're on a first-name basis and shit. In fact, I'd even been neglecting my webcomic of it as my no. This is scary for different reasons. But I decided to play it a little bit before I go work on my webcomic. And it would get me in the mood to work on a new comic. That's not great reasoning to play Super Mario RPG. You should just play it because it's a great game. But I dug out my NES of the backyard. I don't know why I buried it out there. And my box of games and hooked it up. Normally, I just use an emulator, because I'm a pirate. But I wanted to feel the controller in my hands, and there's no way to do that with the computer. Duh. And the WASD keyboard, you could have just said keyboard. Configuration was just getting tired to me. Directions. Anyway, I got it hooked up and looked through my games. Super Mario All-Stars, Super Metroid, Mario World. It's Super Mario World. Get it right. Chrono Trigger. Fucking, there should be an H in there. I love Chrono Trigger. They should release it in HD. Chrono Trigger. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Found it. But when I picked it up, something was really weird. I can't pronounce Chrono. Also, the cartridge was hot. I mean, it was really hot. Like, I don't, Rule 34. It had never done this before. I'm sorry, what? And there was no explanation for it since it hadn't even been used in months. But it was so hot. And even though I should have been more concerned with why, which is all in caps, so I like to think they suddenly scream that in the middle of their sentence or paragraph or whatever. But, even though I should be concerned about why this plastic game is so hot, I wanted to play it. It's too hot to resist. I put it in the system. I wanted to melt the insides of it, anyway, and turned it on. Because this is all a great idea. Right away, I noticed something else that was really unusual. My console was on fire. Also, right after the Nintendo / Square licensing bit, that joke, it's not very good. There's usually a cutscene of Toadstool getting kidnapped by Bowser and Mario opening his door, seeing her missing, and jumps out to save the day. This time, however, was totally different. Toadstool was sitting on the ground on the same flower patch, but she was crying. So we're going to refer to Peach as Toadstool. Okay. As if she was mourning or something. Where the usual happy music plays, there was only a crying sound effect, usually reserved for Toad, because that's all that character does. A sound I'd never even heard in the game before. And Bowser never showed up. He wanted nothing to do with this. She just continued to cry. Soon, Mario came out of his house and sat beside her, looking sad, and put his arm around her. He wasn't crying, though. Trying to be tough. I didn't know what happened, but they obviously lost someone very close. Looks like Yoshi's tax evasion finally caught up with him. The camera panned up to the sky and faded to white. The screen faded back in to Mario in his house doing various things. I love various things. It's a very descriptive activity. Washing his face, there we go, at the sink, and looking over at the second sink and sighing. Sitting at the breakfast table with a place set for a second person across from him. He stared at the empty seat for a beat before breaking into tears. I often break into tears at empty chairs myself. At this point, I knew who they had lost. Waluigi. It was Luigi, though. Mario was getting ready to go out and do main character stuff and went for his hammer on the wall and paused when he saw the one next to it under the name Luigi. Does Luigi have a hammer? I'm going to say maybe. It's probably not. If he does have a hammer, I like to think it's baby-sized. Just a tiny, small little hammer. He looked like he was going to well up again, but instead just grabbed his hammer, pulled down his hat, and left. Time to steal that other hammer. The cutscene cut back to Toadstool in her bedroom in the castle. Sat down on the bed. And sighed, brushing her hair. And looking out the window. That's when it faded to the title screen. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Screams. This was wrong. I'd never seen any of these sprites in this game ever in caps. And because of making a comic... I hope you making comics is the main part of the story. But I'd seen everyone, even the hidden, unused sprites. 7 Screams? Was that a delayed thought from you? But I wanted to shut the game off because something was seriously wrong. Period. Space. But I was intrigued because, sure, why wouldn't you be? It's Halloween. And I wanted to know more. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you want to know more? I wanted to know what Mario was going to do next. What's he gonna do with that hammer? I wondered. Why Luigi was dead? Who or what was responsible? Waluigi. I had to hit start. Well, you didn't had to. Honestly, this is morbid curiosity at best, author. At best. The file selection screen was the same. I'm already too scared. Only the Mario sprite you used to select your file didn't have the same old dumpy smile he always has. Mario and that dumpy smile. He looked pissed. And there was only one file. All my files were gone, and I got pretty far on all of them, 2 of which had completed games on them. The file that remained was called Payback. I selected the file, and Mario jumped off the screen like he usually does. The game faded in with Mario outside his house, and he actually had dialogue. Oh no, Miyamoto is doing the story. Everyone run! He never smoked in this game. Not one line. But he was speaking, and it wasn't pretty. I know. You guys played Sunshine, right? You want to watch some of those cutscenes? Mario, how could this happen? My own brother, taken from me. I'm gonna do something. They have to pay. I could move my character now. Who's your character? The sign above Mario's door that once said Pipe House now said Mario and Luigi, with Luigi's name crossed out. He doesn't live here anymore, because reasons. I went inside the house out of curiosity. This whole thing's out of curiosity. Everything was different because there was 2 of everything. Even front doors. There were 2 beds, each with a nightstand and a lamp. Mario's was the one with a green blanket, and Luigi's had a red blanket. It was nice that they made some contrast there. I'll give him sheng shui, fei shuang. I really appreciated contrasting and stuff. But I knew this was the case because if I tried to turn off Luigi's lamp, it would say Luigi wouldn't want me sleeping in his bed. I've got business to resolve anyway. Luigi can't do anything about it, so tough. I left the house, though, and went for the overworld map. There wasn't much to it, though. There were huge chunks that look like they were blown apart by an explosion of some sort. Mushroom Way was luckily intact. I selected Mushroom Way and went in. Way in. Everything looked totally different, though. The dense forest and vines looked like they had been burned away, and there were charred enemies on the ground. Oh, good, you don't have to fight them. Some with mangled faces, and some torn in half with actual blood, which was never, ever seen in a Mario game. Over under on them saying this must be hacked or hacked game. Me think game hacked. But I got through the first screen, and the second screen wasn't much better. I'm not impressed. The hills were flattened. The once spinning flowers were now piles of ash. Once again, there were enemies everywhere on the ground. It was dirty. The full heal block was still there. The enemies should have used that. Even though I didn't need it now, I had thought until now to check Mario's stats. I opened the menu and went to the status and selected Mario, and Mario had over 20 health and already had his hammer. I assume you mean his, but is kind of sounds more fancy, which I didn't think was weird considering everything else. Like Luigi being dead. His other stats were normal too, except one. His attack, defense, magicka. You couldn't spell magic out in full. Attack, magicka, defense. Come on. We're all normal, but there was a new one, Rage, and it was in red, like blood. That made me look at Mario's sprite again, and he looked pissed. I get it. You saw that. You said that earlier. I remember. I may not be able to pronounce it, but I remember. I closed out that and continued to play. At the end of Mushroom Way, these sick rhymes. So many EPs this month. There was a boss, but he wasn't alive. That's not much of a boss, is it? It was the skeleton of the Hammer Bros that had once been blocking the way. Burnt flesh fused to the bones. I inspected the skeleton and Mario stepped close. Put his hand on in for a second. You mean in the thing? Don't do that. You don't know where it's been. Stepped back and smashed it to pieces with his hammer. That's what his hammer is for. I was so shocked at what I was seeing. Vandalism. But it was making for such an interesting story. I mean, there's no dialogue, but he just smashed this thing. I couldn't stop playing. I thought that was a cutscene. I continued on to the Mushroom Kingdom, but it didn't get much better from there. Mushroom Kingdom was in ruins. Walls to houses were crumbled. Toads were wandering around, looking sick. Useless characters, I don't know, some injured, most haven't done anything. The place looked like Hiroshima after the A-bomb. Okay, well, let's... Not even fucking close, author. You lose 25,000 points for that comment. You're not getting them back. There was no music. Faint wailing could be heard in the background. I tried to talk to one of the people since it was the first NPC interaction so far. He didn't say anything but dot, space, dot, space, dot, space. I tried another. She said, "Why did you come back? Is there another attack coming?" At this point, I was crying. You should cry, author. You should. I shouldn't take what I'm seeing. Well, I shouldn't have to either. But that's not my problem, is it? I had to stop and come back later. I went down to the end to see if the save block was there. It wasn't. Good. Come to think of it, none of the save blocks were there. Good. The one by Mario's pad, it's called a house. Let's not be cash about it, okay? If I had recalled correctly, there was supposed to be one on Mushroom Way. I think it wants me to play until the end. I paused it and took a break anyway. During that time, I thought about what the game was doing. What was this new story going to tell me? What happened to Mushroom Kingdom? Did Luigi die in one of those quote-unquote attacks? Will I make any other offensive remarks? I guess I'll have to find out when I play it again. I got back to the game again. Immediately in the next paragraphs. I took a long time away, but I'm finally back. I usually turned my TV off when I played video games. When I had a game pause, so my dad wouldn't get after me for leaving stuff unattended. But little did he know the console was still on. But I turned the TV on, and there was a message on the screen. You left the game. I wouldn't recommend doing that again. I wouldn't take that from the game if I were you, author. I was freaking out after that, though. I had to catch my breath because all of that running I did in front of the television. But I bypassed the message by hitting the A button and unpaused the game and started again. The first place I wanted to go was the item shop to see what kind of items this new game had. It's probably hacked, author. Let's be honest. You need to admit it to yourself. But I got there, and the front door to the shop was boarded shut. They heard author was coming by, and then closed up. It makes a lot of sense. There was a note on the door. I read the note, and it said, "I can't read." Also, the item shop closed indefinitely by owner. Sorry for any inconvenience, unless your author stopped coming by here. What? I'm just too scared to keep going any longer. I half expected that. You half expected a doom and gloom note. I expect that when I go to stores. I don't know. But the mean old shop owner was a coward anyway. Let's shit talk them. They're not even here. I see some people's personalities haven't been altered at all. The only real change I've seen so far is Mario. What with the piss thing. Not really a lot I can do now. but go up to the castle and see the princess. When I got there, I was glad to see the castle didn't get too much damage like the rest of the town. I mean, screw those other people, but the castle looks nice. And the 2 guards that usually stand outside the door were gone. They're probably just on break. I guess the assumed thin numbers, they were needed elsewhere. Makes sense. Once inside, I was spotted by a toad immediately, because you kind of stand out because you have a mustache and you're small, plumber, red hat. You just stand out, I'm sorry. Especially among mushroom people. And in fact, scolded for not being there sooner. So, wait, scolded by a mushroom that doesn't do anything? This story's taking things too far. Toad to Mario. Mario, where have you been? The princess has been worried sick about you. I mean, I would have gone to retrieve you myself, but mushroom ways lately been so ... So how are you holding up? Also, I'm gonna scold you. And then Mario said, better than you can probably imagine. Where's Toadstool, who I will not call Peach for some reason? And then Toad said, she's in her room, but I recommend you see the Chancellor first. I'll call her down for you. The Chancellor can go to hell. I moved forward, though, to the main hall where the Chancellor is. He can go to hell. The room was a wreck. You should tell him that. The red carpet was all ripped up, curtains torn off, broken windows, holes in the floor, even dead toads laying in places. That's the most realistic part of this story. And if Mario games were more realistic, they'd be full of dead mushrooms. But everybody still alive leaped up to their positions when I walked inside. Oh, it's a plumber. Everyone salute him! Chancellor says, oh, my spores, Mario. I'm so glad you are here. Mario, there's no way to say it. It's bleak. I don't know if you noticed the mushrooms that have died. There's not a lot we can do right now, or probably ever. That's the spirit. Mushroom Kingdom as we know it may be done for. And then Mario said, I don't care. Miyamoto's gone off script. There, I said it. I just don't care anymore. Look at this mustache. I'd set out again to defeat a powerful enemy, but not for any of you. My brother's dead, and it's all their fault, and your defense force is mushrooms. That didn't help. I want to find the person who did this and peel the flesh off his bones. Then I'll rip out his eyes and show himself to them so they can see how ugly he is on the inside. And then I'll rip out his heart, assuming he has one, and this hammer is going to get me there. This hammer is going to take me places. I'm going to fly there on this hammer. Chancellor says to Mario, now Mario, that's a bit dark for you, ... What's come over you? He inched closer to Mario, and Mario took a step back, and another step back, before he ... I couldn't believe it. He swung his hammer at him. Oh. He hit him with all his might. Even with the sprites so small and pixelated, I could tell what happened. He broke the Chancellor's neck. Hyper-realistically neck. A small amount of blood came out of his mouth, which took the most damage. The mouth area took the most damage. That makes sense. The impact happened in slow motion, almost. Mode 7's very impressive. The other toads just watched in horror as their used-to-be hero killed their leader in cold hammer. And blood. Cold blood hammer. Toad said, if we don't have Mario anymore, what hope do we have? Everyone started crying, and Mario turned and left the room. That's right. They can think about what they did or didn't do or should have done. This game was really depressing me. In the next room, Toadstool was waiting for me. Toadstool, I saw what you did. Why? Mario said. I don't know. That's a great reason for breaking someone's neck. You know this isn't me. This is the hammer talking, you know? But, ... I think after that little display, ... I'm a lost cause. I'm an edgelord now. I'm gonna wear a black hat. I should... and overalls. I should have never come back. I'm sorry. I will keep the red shirt, though, because that'll actually go good with the black and edgelordy. Toadstool said, "Wait! Mario, this city is a lost cause. I think you did it a favor and put it out of its misery a little faster. Please take me with you." You're a great ruler of your kingdom. Mario said, "No, I can't loose. I can't loose two people close to me. I could tighten you guys, but not loosen you." And then Toadstool tried to respond one last time before there was a rumbling, like when the sword Exor came down and shook Bowser's Keep, but it came from the next room. Mario and Toadstool went to the main hall, and there, above the Chancellor's body, was the grossest sci-fi alien I've ever seen. It was black and had long spider legs and a giant head. That sounds like something out of one of the Alien movies. That's real original. It was one of the most well-done sprite I'd seen in this game, as if it was really high def compared to the rest. I mean, it wasn't high def, because, impossible, but, it was hyper-realistically high def, let me say. And then Toad said, "It came out of the Chancellor, help us?" Wait, what? Is this Alien? So this is just the lost script from one of the Alien films. Interesting. It immediately started battle, the first one I had since it started. It was the regular boss music. I was happy to finally hear some familiar tunes for once. I got my A, B, X, Y options and was ready for battle. I tried X to get a jump attack, since some enemies have different weaknesses. Finally, the author giving us a tutorial. I figured I'd test it out. I jumped. Never did get rusty on that timing, because I got it perfectly, except dots. It did dots, 0 damage. Now it was his turn to attack. With what just happened, I knew what to expect. It jumped on Mario and mauled him to death. See, I knew what to expect. Dealing out 20 damage dots, my max HP. I was killed in one hit, and the music slowed down to a halt, as it does when all your party members die. The battle was over in one turn. I thought it must have been a story event, and it turned out it was. I can't stand it when RPGs do that shit. You should waste your mega elixirs in this battle, please. It's a real fight, promise. But I got out of the battle, and the alien was standing over Mario, picked him up with its mouth, and swallowed him whole. It's one of the best Mario games ever. Toadstool and everyone else could only watch in horror, because, they can't do anything. As the screen faded to black, the look of utter shock on my face was unimaginable. No picture included, so I don't believe you. Why would someone do this, though? Who could think up such a horrible ending for a Mario game? Was it Miyamoto? Is one of the things. It faded back in with Toadstool and all the remaining Toads in Nimbus Land, where I'm assuming was the only safe place left, holding a memorial service for Mario. The credits began to roll with no sound at all, just silence, with people in the background crying their eyes out, and a wreath with Mario's picture on it. I kept it on for the whole credits, just in case something happened at the end. Like maybe there's going to be a sequel, and they'll tease it at the end. And I was right to keep that in mind. The thing I was expecting the least, it was Luigi! He poked his head in the shot with an evil grin on his face. He giggled loud in my speakers, and the screen went black. I'm in Super Mario 64, but... And I kept it on longer to see if anything else would happen, and nothing did. That's very unexciting. I turned off the game and turned it back on. but it was gone. The game was back to normal, though. My save files were back. Mario was happy again. I started a file. I was continuing in Smithy's factory. I looked at everyone's stats. There was no rage. It was as if none of this madness ever happened, and I made it all up. In a way, I was glad that I made it all up. In a way, I wanted to see how that made-up story would have gone if... Well, it's too late to think about it now, because it hasn't done it since I don't know what my system was trying to tell me, but it sure was scary to think about. Well, let's not go that far. But yeah, that was Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Screams. Not that screamy or scary, to be completely honest. But, didn't expect it. It's more about the journey. And what a journey it's been this month. I hope you have all enjoyed Spooky Finger Puppet Ghost Month and the stories that came with it. We laughed, we cried. We weren't scared, or I never was. Well, except when I look at the video's end product and I'm like, half an hour? What did I do? But, aside from that, it's been a lovely month. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Love you all. Thank you for watching Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime. And now, behold, an end slate. Hello everyone, welcome back to End Slate, and happy early Halloween. This has been Spooky Finger Puppet Ghost Month. I do hope you enjoyed this video as well as the 4 other videos I posted this month. If you did enjoy those, I would appreciate, if you liked them or shared them or any of that. I do apologize for not having weekly uploads on a more regular basis, though there's been a lot of personal stuff going on in the background. With that said, with Spooky Finger Puppet Ghost Month, I prepared in advance because I wanted a video for every week. And I hope that was appreciated and you enjoyed that. And also, welcome to End Slate, where the ends are never fully slated, some say. I have social media stuff, which I'll point out reluctantly. I have a YouTube. You wouldn't know it because you probably didn't get this video in your sub box. Twitter, Facebook. I have a Patreon if you want to support me on there. I stream on Twitch. But, something I like to do is thank some very lovely people. Lovely people who support me on Patreon. And great folks. Some awesome usernames, too. So with that said, thank you all. But let me just say, thank you, Shadow Deshaun Lewis. Hope things get better soon, my friend. Thank you, Maji. Thank you, Kiki Urzabet. Thank you, Chandler Parrish. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Rage Magikarp. Thank you, Rabbit. Thank you, Skinny720. You're all getting a thank you. Or I'm gonna say thank you to every name that's in the thank you tier, because it's been a special month that wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you, Bradley Harder, and thank you, Klodek. Thank you, Come Watch My Twitch Streams. Thank you, Fernando Silva. Thank you, Glad Goku. Thank you, Hey It's Brad. Thank you, Lily Starflame. Thank you, Michael Holder II. Thank you, Nolan Billings. Thank you, Cedars PhD. Thank you, Static Peaches. Thank you, The Epiman. Thank you, Euk. Thank you, Orderly Chaos. Thank you, Purin. Thank you, A Pickle. Sorry. Thank you, Anal Bag. Thank you, Andrew Silverman. Oops, I lost my place. Oh no. Okay, hold on. Okay, thank you, and Evil Ghost. Ah! Thank you, Angel Bane. Thank you, Anthony Sacedo. Thank you, Astral Antonio. Thank you, That's Midnight. Thank you, Orange. Thank you, Butter Pecan. Thank you, Captain Loser. Thank you, Derek Chapman. Thank you, Dez, aka Is That So? Thank you, Dylan Swenson. Thank you, Elfrey684. Thank you, Fading Novelty Mug. Thank you, Joe Mortfolio. Thank you, John Mayer. Thank you, Joseph Almodovar. Thank you, Kami Moon. Thank you, Keitaro. Thank you, Lenny Barks. Thank you, Link the Eighth. Thank you, Mythical Munchkin. Thank you, Nikki Layman. Thank you, Ninja Star Compass. Thank you, Orfano the Adoptable. Thank you, Painful Choice. Sorry. Thank you, Quack. Thank you, Radar. Thank you, River Casey. Thank you, Arpie Spies. Thank you, Sarah Salmon Coloranian. Thank you, Scarlet Robin. Thank you, Scott Labar. Thank you, Sean Carter. I said it right that time. It was weird. But thank you. Thank you, Shillick. Thank you, Sir Doodles a lot. Thank you, Slickster Max Taska. Thank you, SMK. Thank you, Lag Thing, preventing me from scrolling. There we go. Thank you, Snooper. Thank you, Soft Shell, the Class Changing Taco. Thank you, Storm Strider and the Storm Household. Thank you, The Wheels on the Bus. Go Die, Die, Die. Thank you, Breathing. Thank you, The Club Rocker. Thank you, The Red 9 and RE4. Thank you, Tim Klomp. Thank you, Trevor Marquez. Thank you, Vispire. Thank you, Zachary Alexander. Thank you, John Paul Hoare. Thank you, Finn the Human. Thank you, Ludwig. Thank you, Ragnar the Green. And thank you all for everything. I hope you enjoyed this month. And the videos, and thank you for everything. Let's see how long this went on for. You know, despite me thanking you all, like saying thank you over and over again, this is still somehow shorter than the last Net Slay. How does that work? That doesn't make sense. But thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. It's it means a lot that anyone believes in me, especially after all these years. God knows the YouTube algorithm doesn't believe in me. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe Halloween. I know this didn't go up on Halloween Day because I wanted it up on the weekend, but stay safe out there. Don't eat poison candy would be my suggestion. That's been a fear of mine since I was a child, and that's why I didn't go trick-or-treating much. That, and they said something about razor blades and the candy. Why would you do that? That's horrible. That's more scary than anything I've talked about this month. The 90s were weird. I don't know if anyone does that anymore. Hope not. Anyways, though, I love you all. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you all had a fantastic, spooky Finger Puppet Ghost month. Until next time, this has been Yuri of Win. This has been Endslate, and I'll see you next time on a video or a stream or something. Toodles.